Well, hello, it's Ricky from the Control Zone here, and I am going to play some NBA 2K15. And all I can say about this game is I am loving it. I'm not a big basketball fan. I don't know the entire rules yet, but I'm learning as I go along. Here we are we're in the kind of like the career mode. This guy's going to tell me about some cool features. Obviously I can't move from there, so... Okay, please just end. Right, new topic. Ooh, I think I might have got a bug. Can I use my mouse? Oh, there we go. Right, thank you. End. Don't want to go into that stuff. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to be playing as the Boston Celtics, and here we're playing against the Toronto Raptors. Again, I'm not too sure about the quality of these teams, other than I think the Raptors are a bit better. Yeah, look, last year. Oh, shit, I've picked one of the worst teams in the league, I think, to play with. Anyway, what can you do? You can change their uniforms. That's great. Looks like
the 2K Sports
red.
pregame show,
Check this out.
presented by Sprite.
And we welcome you to 2K Sports. Good to have you along, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, and this is the legendary Shaquille O'Neal. And it is Raptor basketball tonight as the Toronto Raptors go up against the Boston Celtics in Boston. So for Boston, their last game, a win against the Mavericks. A tough overtime victory. They're hoping that they can find a way to win this one in regulation.
That's cool. Yeah, I did win it.
Hey, let's talk about Marcus Smart. A lot to like. This guy coming out of Oklahoma State, size, strength, a leader. His three-pointer needs work. How much is that going to hold him back?
Everyone in their seats here in Boston to watch the Celtics on the home court. For the Celtics, their last game, a win against the Mavericks in Dallas. It was a close game. They needed overtime to finish them off.
And Kevin, that was an outstanding win. To get it the way they did in overtime made it that much sweeter, I think.
I agree, and I think most people probably thought that once they couldn't win it in regulation, they had missed their best shot and overtime wasn't going to go their way. But give them credit for pulling it out.
Just to show you a couple of things.
And so off the tip, it's Boston.
The first thing you'll notice I'm playing this.
Here are the five for the Raptors. Lowry and DeRozan, they're the backcourt. Patterson is the four with Valanciunas in the middle. And it's Johnson in at the three-side. Now here's Zeller, and taken away by Johnson. Outside DeRozan. Here's Lowry. Shot misses. And it's Boston the other way.
So the cool thing is, get on a break.
James Johnson out of Wake Forest, drafted 16th by the Bulls back in 2009. He bounced around the league, spent some time in the D-League, but found his niche last season as a valued bench contributor for the Grizzlies.
Zeller setting the pick for Thomas. And Zeller kicks to Bradley. To the middle. It's deflected. It's stolen by Valanciunas. Johnson attacking. Valanciunas with the ball. Picked up by Turner. And it's Johnson. That time on the assist from Valanciunas. Johnson's got his team on the board to start the game for Toronto.
So let's try again.
Here's Thomas. 11 points for him in that last game against Dallas.
And Johnson, really embracing the defensive culture in Memphis. Impressive rate of blocked shots for a wing player he has. And Coach Yeager said his energy was really infectious.
3 points in a basketball game.
DeRozan against Bradley. Lowry passes to Johnson. Back to Lowry. And so he draws the foul on the shot. Now trip to the line to shoot two. James Johnson had said earlier in his career he might have taken things for granted. Steve, he's found that now for his own motivation.
Yeah, spending time in the D-League will give you perspective. He's also had a son. Now he stays in the gym all day, really appreciating this opportunity.
And the first one at the line is good.
Kyle Lowry, an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Last year playing really well in a contract year. Question is, can he maintain that level of play now with this new deal?
And Kyle Lowry drops them both. And Lowry, one of the more underrated players in the NBA, but he's also gotten into it with coaches in the past 2 games.
Yeah, you know, some locker room concerns, you can rub folks the wrong way, but I tend to always want to give the player the benefit of the doubt in this situation until you know for sure what the issues are. Nothing wrong with a little sandpaper coming from a player that's out there competing. My, he is so adept at finishing in the low post.
Outside DeRozan. Battles through traffic and lays it in. DeRozan's got his first points in this one.
His presence is very comforting to this team. He's kind of a fallback option for them anytime they need it.
Well, Kevin, a look here at last year in the NBA where the Raptors ranked 5th for free throw shooting, 7th in opponent points per game, and they were top 10 in three-point shooting. That's a huge part of their offensive attack.
I was just really impressed with the free throw shooting that you mentioned. Top 5 in the league in free throw percentage. Says a lot about their concentration and their focus as a team. This is a key part of the game for this team. They've got to get to the line and knock them down to have a chance to win.
Outside Thomas. Here's Jerebko. That's good.
Now, he's one of the best in the league when it comes to executing that lead pass.
Last outing for Toronto, they won that game against the Thunder.
You know, so often in the NBA we talk about how you have to earn your points the hard way, but it didn't seem like that was the case. Everything came pretty easily.
Too many of their points came the easy way, Steve. You're right. On dunks and layups against a defense that didn't really put up much resistance. The Raptors were one of the top defensive teams in the league last season. Not something we've historically associated with this franchise, but give credit to Dwayne Casey and his staff. I mean, they've got this young team competing at that end of the floor, and that's where it starts if you're going to be good defensively. You've got to want to play at that end of the floor.
Now, here is Lowry. He's coming off a 19-point game against Oklahoma City.
And his work on the glass, certainly noteworthy. And he contributed in a number of ways.
Boston making a switch here. Crowder's checked in. Here's Valanciunas playing Oklahoma City. He was nearly unstoppable. Johnson, good.
They've got themselves in front with some outstanding shooting right off the bat.
Yep, it's been a clinic at that end of the floor, no question.
Thomas goes in, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. It's on Jonas Valanciunas.
Isaiah Thomas, the last pick of the 2011 draft, number 60 overall. Normally a player in that role doesn't even make the team, but he had an outstanding rookie season, and he earned his minutes. He's become a quality NBA player.
And Isaiah Thomas held down the starting point guard spot with the Kings for 3 years. They brought in a number of challengers at that point guard spot over the years. Aaron Brooks, Jimmer Fredette, Gravis Vasquez. Thomas kept giving them the Heisman. He sent them all away to play somewhere else.
Gerald Wallace, he's checked in for Zeller. The Raptors also with a sub. Williams is checked in. That one falls, so he hits both of them. As well as Thomas played in Sacramento, they'd pursued trades for him. They seem to be looking for more of a defensive, pure point guard call.
Perhaps a case of looking at what a guy can't do instead of emphasizing what he can do. It seemed like the writing was on the wall that he'd end up somewhere else, but a nice 4-year, $27 million contract on an up-and-coming team. I would have to say he's got to be pretty satisfied with how it's all worked out for him.
They've got to continue to put pressure on the defense by probing inside. That's what's really working for them.
And when you're doing the job they are inside, it takes pressure off the perimeter guys.
Now here's Smart. He's coming off a 10-point game against the Mavericks in Dallas. And he gets it to go.
Tell you what, it's a huge plus to have him making shots like that.
Toronto leading by 6. Outside Williams. Takes it from 10. That's blocked.
On a breakaway. One.
And now with the fast break, Smart with the ball. That's good for Thomas on the assist from Smart. 6 points for Isaiah Thomas.
playing 5 minutes.
A minute 20 left to play here in the first. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
I was able to speak with Dwayne Casey for a moment. He told me that he's looking forward to this matchup. Their first look at this team so far this season. He said they'll look to play up offensively. As usual, their length and shot blocking a great deterrent inside. Kevin?
Thanks for the report, Doris. Steve, Clark, your thoughts on their defensive focus here?
Well, it's the right strategy, Kevin, because you have to play to your strengths as a team. You can't get away from who you are.
And that's right, Steve. Their strength is certainly what they do defensively. They can rattle folks.
And now, the first time out called here for Boston.
Well, he wants to get everybody on the same wavelength, that's for sure. And he may change up some things here as well.
Looks to me like he saw something that wasn't on the plan and picked now as the time to address it. I don't have a problem with that.
Bill Press is checked in for Thomas. Then for the Raptors, Amir Johnson's checked in for Patterson. Terrence Ross comes in for DeMar DeRozan. And it's Vasquez in for Kyle Lowry. 109 left here in the opening quarter. Dish out to Crowder. Passes it to Pressey. From the arc. That's good. Pressey's got himself on the board with 3 there.
That was simply a defensive breakdown there, Kevin. He was all alone for that shot. It was a warm-up jumper.
Inside. Valanciunas, good.
I think they need to get much more disruptive defensively. They can't just keep allowing these easy baskets.
I agree. They need more energy in the post, maybe some double teaming. They've got to get their defense in gear.
Now here's Wallace. There's 37 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Really left alone that time.
Everybody on the floor is hot. Incredible stuff here in the early stages.
Tell you what, both teams playing downhill. Who's going to blink first?
Vasquez kicks to Valanciunas. Pass to Vasquez. Misses from close range.
There was just enough defensive pressure to get him off balance and cause that shot to go awry.
Wallace misses.
Looked like an easy 2 points right there.
You know he's kicking himself for that miss.
And Williams, here we go. Valanciunas. None of the defenders wanted anything Clark to do with him on that jam.
And I do not blame him at all, partner. He was coming in with a bunch of steam and was ready to posterize whoever decided to get in his way.
All right, I understand, fellas, but come on. You've got to challenge him a little bit at least.
Maybe he's one of the managers. Anyway, at the end of each quarter, you get a little highlight reel of a few bits that happened during the game, just to show off the amazing graphics. The HUDs that we're seeing here is the last game. Very fresh. I've played about half a dozen games each game. It takes me about 30 minutes to complete.
Next Tuesday, November 11th, Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs go up against Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors, live from Oracle Arena. You don't want to miss it.
It's good, isn't it? Shows you they're 3-0, so one of those teams.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Raptors.
And right from the start, guys, it's apparent they're determined to establish a presence in the paint.
They also haven't been afraid to take it strong to the hoop early on tonight. I like that.
So on the floor for Toronto to start this second quarter. They've got Amir Johnson. Williams is out there with Vasquez. Then it's Terrence Ross. And it's Johnson in at the 4-man position. Celtics trail by 6.
Rivas Vasquez throughout his career has been more of a passer than a scorer, but last season the highest scoring rate of his career, and he's improved his three-point shot every season up to almost 38% last year.
Here's Smart. The half-court bomb falls off target. The Raptors shooting impressively throughout at 62%. Williams against Bradley. Ross with a screen on Bradley. Ross, that's good. Ross has got the lead up to 8 now for the Raptors.
Now, they're really doing a nice job of stringing together solid possessions and building that lead up.
That's the key, Steve. They'll stay in control of this game if they can just avoid any lulls going forward.
Here's Crowder. Off target with his three. Toronto leading by 8. 3-on-3. Kicks it to Williams. On the wing, Johnson. Shot clock at 6. Here's Ross. Again, Toronto.
I like the way they've played here in the first half. Just an intelligent floor game, getting good shots.
Numbers certainly back that up. They're shooting a much better percentage.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over.
Big step forward in the play of Terrence Ross last year. And you can see why fans are excited about his growth. He has the physical tools and skill set to become an elite wing player.
Some changes for Toronto. Patterson, he's checked in for Johnson. DeRozan comes in for Vasquez. And it's Lowry in for Williams. We're closing in on 2 minutes played here in the second quarter. And with Ross, he said that he models himself a bit after Paul George and how he wants to continue to grow as a player.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah,
PG
nice
already being,
compliment.
that's a great compliment, already being looked to by some of the younger players in the league. And you're right, Kevin, not a bad guy to model your game after, because PG is an excellent two-way player.
Great defensive anticipation there to challenge that shooter.
It's up a 3. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. That's 7 points now for Terrence Ross. Celtics trailed by 13. And there's the pass to Crowder. Quarter 2 and just under 2.5 minutes gone by. And he banks in the layup. Crowder's got 5 points so far.
You know, when the size advantage is that pronounced, I mean, that's exactly what you should do offensively in this situation. Take it strong to the middle.
Lowry dishes to Ross. Back to Lowry. An easy 2 points on the layup.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Now, you got to make a defensive adjustment here, Clark. Time to collapse inside, force the ball back out in the perimeter, make them beat you from long range.
Shot is good, and the Toronto lead is cut down to 11 on the bucket from Wallace.
And that assist earned him a little nod from his teammate after the basket.
So, timeout called here, the first for Toronto. Jay Crowder, a former second-rounder back in 2012 on Marquette. Those Golden Eagles turn out some gamers, don't they?
They sure do. You think about Wes Matthews, Jimmy Butler, and Crowder is in that same mold. Strong and rugged, a physical defender, a smart player, and plays with a great motor and enthusiasm.
And a whole new group out on the floor for the Celtics. With a pause in the action, let's show you the teams that were best from the line last season. 5th, the Raptors.
I think free throw shooting can be contagious, and it seemed like everybody last season just had the hot hand.
In the last quarter, once the players
Patterson with it. Stolen. And here we go. Here's Jerebko. Finished off the break. Jerebko's got it back down to within single digits for Boston.
Now that's a momentum shifter there. A steal leading straight to a quick bucket.
Yeah, great way to capitalize on the turnover. Can't waste any time. Get the ball up the floor.
A wide open look here for DeRozan. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. Lowry's got 3 assists now in this one. Boston's gone 0-2 from deep here in the second.
And you look at Crowder, a combo forward, muscular frame, built like a tight end. In fact, he played power forward in college, but at 6'6", he's played the 3 in the pro.
Thomas, it's a wide open look from beyond the arc and then some. Thomas got 9 points. Raptors leading by 8. There's a whistle and it goes on Isaiah Thomas. That's foul number 2 for him.
That's a second personal foul. If he gets another, it probably puts him on the bench for the rest of the first half.
Valanciunas, he's checked in for Toronto. Here is Ross. He had 16 points in the win against Oklahoma City. Patterson, that's good.
And for Crowder, the three-pointer is his main offensive weapon right now. Not great from out there yet, but you can be certain he'll continue to work on that shot as he feels that 3-and-D niche in the NBA.
And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2.
Evan Turner has a nice potpourri of skills. I mean, the 6'7" swingman with very good ball handling ability. Played a lot of point forward at the Ohio State University, and also an excellent rebounder for a wing. And his basketball IQ is quite high to go along with that versatility.
And Evan Turner, the number 2 pick back in 2010, but he struggled to put it all together.
Yeah, his shooting stroke is still a work in progress. You know, he's still developing that consistency with his scoring. His real strength is his playmaking ability and his ball handling. Guys, it seems like the league has been pretty forward-thinking, willing to embrace changes over time, always trying to improve the game. And I think, you know, they actually changed the competition committee over the last couple of years. It used to be every general manager. Now it's made up of 3 owners, 3 general managers, 3 coaches, and a player, which I think is a much more manageable group to work with.
Free throw drops for Kyle Lowry. And with that new NBA competition committee, the league was hoping to create a more nimble leadership group to consider various initiatives.
And, you know, I think the culture of the NBA has been open to innovation, and new things, new ways of doing things, new thinking, all in an effort to improve the game. And to me, that's what it's about.
Now a timeout called by Boston. Well, the Celtics had a lot of problems, Clark, in a number of places last year, but at home they just struggled to put up points.
And, you know, they hadn't been known for being a high-scoring team in recent years, but no amount of defense could have made up for their woeful offense.
Brandon Bass is checked in for Boston. Celtics trailed by 12.
Boston would end the year with just 16 wins at home. That would be the 3rd worst mark in the East.
And a chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Well, gentlemen, Kelly Olynyk grew up in a basketball family. His father was the head coach at the University of Toronto. Kelly said, I had unlimited access to a huge basketball mind, which was unbelievable. He loved the game so much, and he had so much knowledge and experience. It really made me want to succeed in the game. Guys?
Great skill in that front court. He fits right in. Thanks, Doris.
And it might be a bit strange for these Boston fans to not have a dominant team to watch at home, but fortunately for them, the Celtics usually don't stay at the bottom for too long.
And he can't get the first one.
The new front office starting last season for the Toronto Raptors, and it seemed the roster of the team was going to be subject to some changes as well, as the team shed some of the big money players who hadn't been able to lead this squad to many wins in the past, and now they're looking to a promising future.
So he gets the whistle, contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And from the jump, the Raptors said they didn't want to be stuck in no man's land anymore. It is too good to draft top-tier players, but not good enough to truly contend. They're trying to be forward-thinking and save their big contracts for real difference makers.
Well, the Raptors front office, Clark, looking for players who battle, who want energy and toughness.
Yeah, exactly. They'll look at the stats, but at the end of the day, they want players with heart and fight. And I think that's a great emphasis to make as one of your core pillars culturally as a team.
The Raptors making a switch here. Williams is checked in. And Kyle Lowry drops them both.
A career best performance from Kyle Lowry last season, posting best in scoring and assists. A lot of people felt like he was the player most egregiously overlooked when it came to the All-Star game.
55 seconds left here in the second. Right side, DeRozan. From beyond the arc, that falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. Lowry's got 5 assists tonight.
So one thing you'll notice
and Lowry, arguably the Raptors' best player last season. Despite that, Steve, he was the subject of repeated trade rumors.
Well, it was such a curious situation for Toronto. On one hand, you know, they were trying to rebuild at the beginning of the season, maybe get a top draft pick, and then all of a sudden they started playing well. In the end, no trade. You know, Lowry becomes their best player, and then you know, he leads them to a top 3 seed in the playoffs. So it's a strange season.
Outside DeRozan. And Williams, here we go. Rebound by the Celtics.
Usually if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
It's tipped. So as we conclude the first half, so
Anyway,
far fairly one-sided.
Stadium's packed.
Toronto ahead, up 19. And now we'll send it down to Doris Burke, who's standing by courtside.
By the end of the back.
Hey, Kevin. Well, Coach Casey, obviously it's early in the season, but how would you say this team is shaping up in terms of its chemistry and personnel-wise?
I love our guys. We have a great group of young men competing hard, and it feels good because I know our guys are totally engaged and focused and giving what they have.
Coach, thank you so much. Back to you guys at the table.
Okay, Doris, much appreciated.
Anyway,
and now for halftime. So we'll be back in just a bit to get the third quarter underway.
And potentially, I'll have no one left in the stadium come final start. But what will happen if it's very close, as in the last game, stay right now, they were stood up in the final moments of the game. Both team in that case equalised against me and then both times. The atmosphere is
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters. You gotta like what DeMar DeRozan has done in this game.
I know we've said this many times before, but I'll say it again. He had a great first half, just an explosive offensive display there.
At the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about what a great second half he had. He can usually keep it going for all four quarters.
Well, we've got a moment. Let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up for the second half. On the floor for Boston. Jonas Jerebko out there with Zeller. Then it's Turner. Then there's Bradley, and it's Thomas in at the point. Zeller passes to Bradley, and it's out of bounds. The Raptors will take it the other way.
And checking out some numbers for Isaiah Thomas, good season for him last year. Averaged about 20 points a game last season, 6 assists and 3 rebounds. And you look at his scoring, he was #1 on the team last season for them.
And Steve, it's never easy to lead a team in scoring at this level. I mean, the best players in the world. Kudos to him.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Well, guys, head coach Dwayne Casey has overseen a surprising turnaround in Toronto. Their record has improved in all 3 seasons under his tenure. DeMar DeRozan said, "Since I've been here, he preaches the same thing. He told us to stick with it, and it worked. Everything came together like he said it would." Gentlemen?
On the rock, the team motto. They put in the work and stayed consistent. Thanks, Doris.
It had been 6 straight years for the Celtics that they had made the playoffs, but that run came to an end last season as they were clearly in full rebuild mode.
And Kyle Lowry drops them both. Well, a lot of storied franchises missed the playoffs last year, and Boston was one of them. But, Steve, they knew it would be a tough season early on.
Well, trading away the talent they did, they knew how the season would play out. You know, ultimately it was the right thing to do, because they are in a good position to build upon youth going forward.
And a minute played as the second half gets going. Pass to Valanciunas with the fadeaway. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. Lowry's got 6 assists in the game. Boston's gone 3 of 7 tonight from three-point territory. And Zeller kicks to Thomas. He dishes it to Bradley. 6 to shoot. Back to Thomas. Right side, Thomas. And it's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over.
And a look back to last season, the year Isaiah Thomas had 12th in assists, 17th in scoring. And he was very solid from the foul line, closing out the year among the top 20 in terms of free throw percentage.
And you pointed out his assist numbers, Steve. Again and again, he showed this remarkable ability to deliver the ball to his teammates on time and on target.
And the Raptors call time here. First chance of the season for them to go up against this Celtics team.
And as you'd expect, they pretty much handled this team a year ago.
Jay Crowder's checked in for Boston. Just over a minute and a half have passed here in the third quarter. The drive by Lowry. And the basket good. Lowry's got 6 points in the quarter.
Virtually uncontested. It's nice to be able to add to the lead without really having to work for it.
Clark, opposite ends of the conference here. The expectations are pretty much the same as last season.
Well, Kevin, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know where the upsets will take place, but they do occur pretty much all the time.
Johnson outside, and that's out of bounds. Toronto will retain possession.
A nice play to get a hand on that pass and tip it out of bounds.
I tell you what, guys, if he gets there a fraction earlier, that's a steal.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Olynyk comes in for Jerebko. And Smart subbed in for Thomas. And Toronto also making a switch. Johnson, he's checked in for Patrick Patterson. And it's DeRozan missing.
That's still a great start to the half after hitting their first three, even before that miss.
Here's Crowder. And again, Boston with the triple.
They've been good on all three of their shots since coming out of the locker room at the break.
Raptors leading by 20. Lowry kicks to DeRozan. He feeds it to Johnson. Lowry dishes to Valanciunas. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. Valanciunas has got 14.
That's the third bucket in a row from the paint. This defense needs to clog those lanes in the middle much more effectively.
Yeah, and until they do, the problems inside are only going to get worse. Well, the history of college coaches switching over to the NBA is pretty daunting, but Brad Stevens of the Celtics can't worry about those who came before. He's just got to be himself. And he was well regarded in Boston. Despite the fact that they went through a rebuilding process last year, he did a really good job.
And DeRozan, here we go. Another miss by DeRozan. Celtics trailed by 20. Now Zeller. Bradley kicks to Smart. And the Celtics hit again from deep. And Coach Stevens enjoying great success in his 5 seasons as coach of the Butler Bulldogs.
Yeah, had a terrific, historic run. 2 consecutive trips to the NCAA title game. 2010 and 11, I had the privilege to be courtside calling those games. A 25-game win streak, one of the brightest minds in the game. And with the 6-year contract from the Celtics, they clearly believe in his abilities, as do I.
I'm not sure what he was thinking about there. That's a strange foul.
Who knows? Maybe he just wanted to take a break for a minute.
Wallace is checked in for Boston. Jesse comes in for Avery Bradley. Raptors also changing it up. Terrence Ross is checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Williams comes in for DeMar DeRozan. And it's Vasquez in for Kyle Lowry. Shot by Crowder, no good.
That was not pretty there. You got to make that one, but maybe that's not his range.
They get the rebound. Shot by Johnson, no good. And here's Boston. Big stretch here going 10-2. Smart with the ball. Williams picks him up. Lets the 3 fly. Shot by Crowder, no good. Raptors leading by 17. Here's Vasquez. Good, and it's Williams who picks up the assist. Vasquez has got his first basket.
Boy, the floor really opened up for him there.
It sure did. A good job getting it started before the defense can get itself set.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
Lou Williams now about 2 years removed from his ACL tear, and a lot of times you can play a year but really not feel 100% until the following season. So hopefully he gets back to the level we saw him in Philadelphia.
Boston making a switch here. Jerebko's checked in. 1:24 left in the third quarter. Now the feed to Olynyk. Toronto grabs the miss. Earlier in the game, they held a 25-point lead.
And you talk about Williams in Philadelphia, the Sixers really featured him in their offense with great quickness coming off screens. Boy, he was a terrific scoring sub off the bench.
1:10 left to play in the third. Here's Johnson, and he jams it with authority.
Good ball movement. He put that pass in the ideal spot, right where it needed to be.
Celtics trailed by 21. And for Williams, so much of his game built around his quickness. Getting healthy could make, I think, a huge difference.
And that's certainly the hope, Kevin. Traded away by his home team, the Atlanta Hawks. No doubt motivated to prove he can still contribute at a high level.
Here's Vasquez. And he banks in the layup. Vasquez has got his second bucket tonight.
You know, they're being very one-dimensional right now, going to the post every time. But if it works, you don't need another dimension.
Well, they're taking this defense to task, quite honestly. Every one of their last 10 points have come in the paint.
Feeds to Pressey. Dishes it to Jerebko. Misses off the left iron.
You've got to give them a lot of credit for the job they've done on the backboard.
Well, they've done a lot of things right, but I agree with you, Coach. The rebounding is right there at the top of the list.
Can't believe that. See that?
Johnson kicks to Ross. Back to Johnson. Outside Williams. Tries again. And there are the Raptors with another bucket.
26 seconds. I'm going to have to leg it.
6 seconds left in the third quarter. Smart, wide open, he fires. Misses the deep three-point attempt. And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead in this one may already have been decided. Toronto ahead, running away with it. And will return shortly.
Once you get a big deficit, it's really hard to make it back up.
Tuesday, November 11th, Nikola Vucevic and the Orlando Magic take on Kyle Lowry and the Toronto Raptors. Live from Toronto, Hoops Action.
Yeah, very good. They're going to show the pass.
And now we have a moment to reveal our State Farm assist of the game.
This was such a pretty pass, Kevin. Beautiful assist, and of course it turned into the easy basket, but just a gorgeous play there.
That was. I have no idea how I'm going to pull this one back. I mean, technically, about, was it 23 points in it? I need about 10 or 12 kind of, I suppose you could call it.
Austin's gone to the three-pointer 11 times tonight and nailed 5 of them. So for Toronto right now, Lowry and Williams, the guards. Patterson is the 4 with Valanciunas in the middle. And it's DeRozan in at the small forward position. Lowry with the ball. Now Thomas defending, and he gets the bucket. 6 points for Williams.
Defensively, I think they've got to do a better job of bodying them up.
Yeah, they're getting outclassed in the paint at both ends, really.
Bradley drives in. That's in there. Thomas with the assist. Thomas got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight.
Gotta love the use of the bounce pass there. Perfect feed.
11 feet away. Second shot opportunity. Here's Valanciunas. Lowry passes to Valanciunas. And there's the foul. It goes on Evan Turner.
So if they replay that, it's just ridiculous. What's going on? I thought I did a foul. Maybe they weren't taking a shot. That's probably right.
DeRozan against Turner. Patterson. And they finally get it to go. A full night's work on the boards in one trip down the floor. A few possessions into the fourth quarter, just over a minute played. DeRozan against Turner. Here's Zeller. Gets it to go from 18 feet away.
That felt quite good. I meant that.
And here's Lowry. And the Raptors call time here. Well, the Toronto Raptors guys looking at a rebrand for a team starting next season to celebrate their 20th anniversary in the league. Boy, time flies. New colors, Steve, and a new logo.
Yeah, they'd even considered a name change, but decided to stick with the Raptors. But a chance perhaps to go with that bird of prey connotation rather than a dinosaur.
Brandon Bass is checked in for Boston. Crowder comes in for Jerebko. Lowry with the ball. Now Thomas defending. The dish to Williams. And so they choose to intentionally foul.
When you go back to when the Raptors came into existence in 1995, it was Jurassic Mania, thanks to the hit movie at that time. That influenced the fan vote when it came to the team's name, but I think the Tyrannosaurus theme may soon go extinct.
Just another outstanding play down low. These teams couldn't be farther apart in their effectiveness in the paint today.
Yeah, that's right. It's been all good at one end, and we'll try to be diplomatic here and just say not so good at the other.
When you talk about the branding of this Raptors team, the new uniforms. Of course, we saw the Toronto-bred rapper Drake at a lot of their games sitting courtside. They had the playoff run last year. This is, I think, an up-and-coming franchise with a lot of appeal. Not too many of those shots were dropping for him in the first half, but it's been a different story here in the second.
Outside Thomas. Here's Crowder. Good, and the assist goes to Thomas.
Fantastic pass. He turned that one into a pretty easy basket for his teammate.
Toronto leading by 23. Outside Lowry. And DeRozan. Here we go. Again, Toronto.
And he may be the guy to put this game even farther out of reach.
The Celtics have gone an outstanding 4 of 5 from the field in the fourth quarter so far. Here's Crowder. Outside Turner. It's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Guys, this is the second season since the league returned to a 2-2-1-1-1 finals format. It was a unanimous decision at the time, and I haven't sensed any regrets. The feeling was, and continues to be, that the top seed deserves to have Game 5 at home.
And now with Clark, every NBA team flying charter flights, travel much less of a concern with that 2-2-1-1-1 format.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the fact we went back to that. It makes a lot of sense in this day and age, and you don't give an advantage or disadvantage to either team. So very good to go back to that. And with the league showing a willingness to increase travel a little bit for the good of the game, it makes you wonder if you'll see a top 16 interconference playoffs. Again, I've already voiced I'm not in favor of that, but I think it's something that has been discussed at least a little bit.
Celtics had a rough time in the East, and a lot of it was because they just would get worn down as the game went on. They had a very difficult time after halftime, in fact.
Kyle Lowry with a beautiful setup.
Boston's gone to the three-pointer 11 times tonight and nailed 5 of them. Now here's Bass. That drops.
Hey, I got a basket out of the foul.
Boston with a 21-31 record against the rest of the conference last year, and it was because of what you said, Clark, being unable to fight back.
Yeah, they would just either run out of steam after the half or run out of options at some point later in the game. They got to find a way to be able to sustain good play for longer periods.
Some changes for Boston. Gerald Wallace, he's checked in for Crowder. Luigi Daytona comes in for Thomas. Young is subbed in for Bradley. Then for the Raptors, Hayes comes in for Jonas Valanciunas, and it's Vasquez in for DeMar DeRozan. Passes it to Fields. Back to Lowry. They set the pick. And there's the foul. It goes on Evan Turner. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far.
We talk so much about how valuable expiring contracts and draft picks are in terms of building a team, but one thing that gets overlooked is just how important having a player on a good contract can be. It opens up so many possibilities for a team.
Looking at who's out there now for the Celtics. Zeller, he's checked in for Bass. Jerebko comes in for Wallace. Bradley's checked in for Young. And Thomas subbed in for Luigi Daytona. Bradley up top. DeRozan defending. Here's Jerebko. 11 feet out, and he hits it. With the talk of value contracts, if you get a franchise player and only paying him half of what is expected, Clark, that's an extra all-star player you can afford on your roster.
And I think that's a big payoff with it. So much of how a team is constructed in the NBA involves how close they are to the salary cap. And so you'd like to try to get as many really good players as you can at market value, or in some cases maybe below market value.
Block it 2, and Thomas with the block. And up the court come the Celtics on the break. The shot's good from Jerebko.
You know, if you were only looking at the way he's played offensively, you'd think his team would be ahead.
Vibrating like mad.
1:31 left in the fourth quarter.
And this is what they wanted, to announce their presence in this matchup with authority. Very decisive. And I think it can be considered a statement win for the Raptors.
Clark, their inside game was what secured them the win tonight.
Yeah, Kevin, they had their way in the paint, and those are all high percentage shots.
And every win important. And this one will go down as win number 3.
Well, this win gives them a victory in round one of what's basically a 4-game fight between these teams this season.
And it will be a fight, Steve. When you see an opponent that many times, it's inevitable that those games take on a little extra meaning for the players.
Well, you look back at this one, and what an amazing performance this has been for Kyle Lowry. Every time he shot it seemed like it was just going to drop in, and nobody was surprised.
That's their third straight make off an assist.
Boy, the ball movement's been fantastic here the last few possessions.
And so they foul intentionally.
Yeah, with the game out of reach, intentional fouls don't mean anything. It's just an exercise in futility. Let the clock go.
I agree with you, Clark. It just doesn't really compute at this point.
No good on that one.
Rivas Vasquez, a 6'6" point guard out of Venezuela by way of the University of Maryland, is really a good passer and playmaker. Plays with a swagger and moxie that you love to see. You know, a couple seasons back, this guy averaged 9 assists a game.
This run probably just a case of too little too late.
But at least they're still going after it and playing hard. It would have been very easy to throw in the towel a while ago.
Johnson outside. He kicks it to Valanciunas. Pass to Vasquez. From down in the low post, it goes. And the Raptors lead by 16.
This is going to be a great game for them. No win on the road comes easy in the NBA. Nice performance.
Any player loves sending his own fans home happy. He loves even more sending opposing fans home miserable.
Bradley kicks to Pressey. Celtics passing it around. Launches a three. Wallace misses.
30 seconds to go.
Vasquez with it.
Are they? No point. Look, you hear the crowd. That's it.
And so Toronto takes this one, but by a big margin. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night, and these guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dreamlike games for a coach.
And so now we'll go down to Doris Burke, who's standing by live with our Jordan Player of the Game. Doris?
Kyle, congratulations on this win. Tell us what the team's objective was tonight that most helped in getting this victory.
Everybody played the offense together. Stayed aggressive, stayed the course of the game.
Cohesiveness and aggressiveness, a pretty good combination. Thanks for the time, Kyle. Guys?
All right, Doris, thank you. And for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. Thank you for tuning in to the NBA on 2K Sports. Now, our Jordan Player of the Game, Kyle Lowry.
Cracking slow-mos to show off the graphics engine. And Lowry. Oh, Lowry. I thought I'd let that play through. Anyway, at the end of each game, you can either watch that little replay thing again, or have some box score stats after stat after stat. Team comparisons, very good. Gives you a little bit of an idea of the points and the 3-pointers. 12, I've got 5 out of 12, I've got 4 out of 10. 90% there. Okay, so some good stuff. First quarter, second quarter, first half. Third quarter, fourth quarter, second half, entire game. You know what I mean? Stats beyond the wild streak. Score summary list is point by point, clear breakdown of the entire full game. You can really see, like, in this little bit here, I started really starting losing games to win in the second quarter. Really see, by analysing the game, you know, had this poor start here. I also had this 9 points to nothing, 9-0 that one. 8-0, points there. So you can really see the summary of the game. But you see here, look, it's starting to come back a bit. So I got how many points? 9 without any dunk, layup, jump shot. Amazing. Look at this. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to that last one. Change this to score. This is great. So let's see some of the individual players, what they did. The overall Rapids, what they did. Just wow. Lots of stats. And to get out of the game, I'm going to press quit. And this will take me back. And I'll just show you a couple of other things before I leave, just that are quite impressive. Okay, so quite clearly, I've got this in here. What's that? The Pacers. Okay, so we're playing Friday and Saturday night. No wonder we're tired. That's a rest day either way, so you've got a day off Thursday and the Sunday. So we've got a couple of things at the top here. So this is the calendar. Okay, I can look at something called social media, which is like a Twitter. And this brings in things. So Toronto Raptors have got obviously an official, and we can look at the data of that. Somebody's got an injury, so we can look at him. This guy here, Rodney Stuckey, got pinched nerve in my neck. I'm hurting but not injured. Nothing's going to stop me from battling the Celtics. Obviously, I'm playing him in the next game. Loads of stuff. Some real stuff here. So, Mike Prada, Grizzlies Gasol injured in tonight's Grizzlies-Pelicans game. Expects to play against the Thunder. So we've got some stats. Just oh shit, look at that. Did you see that last one? Look at that. I love those photographs. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, so that's the social media. We've got team status, so I can actually have physical conversations with these people. Team overview for Celtics. Now, if I press the B button, we get an absolute cavalcade of options. Scouting, training, business. So I can change if I want to make parking more expensive or the seat price more expensive. I can. I can change the price of the merchandise. Obviously, souvenirs and things like that are locked. The team hats, I can make them more expensive. Hot dogs, soda, ice cream, again more expensive. Okay, so endless options here. Pricing graphs. Obviously, I'm a bit soon into this. There's the gate, so we can see how we're doing. Team finances. Too much for me to look at right now. Jersey sales. So who's this guy selling just under £1 million? So, standings. So again, we get the division. Okay, see all the different divisions. I can see the conference, the West and the Eastern. Actually, let's just have a little look. I think I'm bottom. Oh no, fourth from bottom. Now, I'm a bit dense when it comes to this. I can't see the points. I don't understand how the Hawks are top, apart from a 2-0. These guys have got a 4-0. So why are these above these? Is it alphabetical? No, it can't be. Maybe it's on the win percentage. And then they do it alphabetically from there. Who knows? Maybe I need to do a bit of research. We've got some more statistics. Just endless stuff here. Records. Now, I want to show you this because I quite like this. Obviously, this is Player of the Week, Player of the Month, Rookie of the Month, Player of the Week. Okay, so that's fine. But NBA records. Look at this. This goes back to the 60s. So if somebody got 100 points in a single game, Michael Jordan got 63 points in the playoffs in a single game. So obviously, if you were to achieve these things, you could try and achieve. I doubt it's probably freak records. Team records, so all the points and same sort of things by team, league history. Okay, so we can see you've got some season awards. We can look at past champions and the final, the playoff finals of all the NBA. So here, the Boston here that I'm playing as the last one in the 2007-2008 season. Unbelievable. And plenty of options. And something I haven't been into yet. What the heck? Okay, so select the amount of points to purchase. I don't think I will. So anyway, there we go. So thanks for watching. If you've stuck it this far, brilliant, well done. But I just thought I'd show you my NBA game. Let's take that back. That's going to save. And next time, thanks again. It's been a pleasure talking through this. And my advice, check it out. If you're not really into basketball like me,
What's up, guys? On this week's episode of NBA 2K TV, I'll be hanging out with one of your favorite centers, Andre Drummond, and heading back to the Jordan hangar to learn a couple more moves. So click on the